I was just talking to Billy, and I am looking at buying some businesses, and I thought it might be interesting to walk through that. I was just starting to walk through it with Billy when I interrupted him because he didn't know that I was going to talk about this on the podcast. So I'm looking at buying a couple of businesses, and I thought I would walk through them with you guys and give you an idea of how these things work. So the first one that I'm looking at is it is a dog supply retail outlet. So they do both animal, they got bones and all this shit on the walls, and then they got grooming in the back. And so this is a business. They're looking for $300,000, and here's the math, and here's the way that I look at the business. So you can go via SBA and you can get a loan. And they'll give you about 90% of the loan as long as it's a business, generally speaking, that you have experience at, and or the business has a long track record and you have experience in business. So in my case, I have a ton of experience in business, and that one in particular is one that my daughter's very interested in. So we're looking at trying to put that together. So the company is $300,000 is what they're asking for it, and then plus inventory. They're looking to get paid out on the $300,000, and they're willing to carry the $100,000 odd dollars they say they have in inventory. So on a deal like this, the first thing you do, and I already did, is I send somebody into the store to go check it out, and it's pretty nice, put together real well, lots of inventory. Second thing you do then is you kind of get a sense of how much can you count on the financials that they provide you. In this case, they make about $120,000 a year on about $800,000 in revenue, a little bit more than that, $850,000 in revenue. So, all right, they're making about 15% round numbers. That's not terrible. So you can come in with 10% down if we went with their purchase price of $300,000. And you're going to have to come up with $30,000 of your own because the SBA is going to want 10% to make that deal happen. Now you have debt for $270,000. On that $270,000, the SBA will go 10 years. And right now you're paying prime plus 2.5. Prime is about 2, so you're going to pay 4.5 points, 4.5% interest on that loan over the life of the loan. So it's a fixed rate over the life of the loan. That's roughly $2,500. Call it $25,000 a year for easy math, and $30,000 a month, or $30,000 a year to go against the 120 that they say the company's throwing off, the 120 in cash flow, or the 120 in EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. So that's after everybody's been paid. That's after the rent's been paid. The rent's one of the biggest expenses this place has. It's just shy of 5 Gs, because it's in a retail
popular
outlet,
strip mall type thing.
Popular strip mall next to a Walmart. It got about 8 employees. Half of them are part-time. And so it's a perfect startup business that's already in place for somebody like my daughter, does just shy of $1 million a year. She'll have to learn how to manage employees, have to learn how to schedule employees, have to learn how to buy inventory and keep inventory. Of course, what's inventory?
Everything you sell?
What do you call inventory sitting on the? This is a pop quiz for
Cash.
Billy. Cash. That's exactly right. And you don't ever want to lose track of that. That is money sitting on the counter. So, and the shelves. So if that doesn't turn right, you need to discount it to move it to get the money in, so you can buy something that does after a set amount of time. As soon as you think something's not going to sell, so you have to stay on top of that. You got to analyze your financials. You got to analyze your turnover. It's a cash business, which meaning it gets paid immediately. I don't mean although people can pay actual cash.
Yeah.
But I call them a cash business in that you get paid immediately. Go to a restaurant, order the food, eat the food, on your way out, you pay the bill. As opposed to you go to a restaurant,
a service-based
eat
business.
the food, they send you a bill, 30 days later, and then you have 30 days to pay the bill.
Yeah.
It's not like that. Obviously, you get paid right away. So your cash flow issues are minimized And depending on if the cash flow is as good as they say, or is what they say it is, then there's enough cash flow because you receive it right away to cover the debt, all of the debt, including all of the expenses. And so you don't need outside financing other than the money that you went and got from the SBA to finance the business.
Yep.
Well, so there's no line of credit that you need. Typically, businesses that are more service-oriented have receivables. Like I said, you sell something to somebody and you bill them for it 30 days later. Transportation.
Yep.
We go do a run for somebody, middle of the month, you send them a bill. They got 30 days to pay that bill. Maybe you did the work on the 1st of the month, you bill it on the 16th, and then you get paid somewhere around the 16th, 30 days later if they pay on a 30-day term. So that's a 45-day float on your financial or on your receivables, that's called. That's money that you're due to receive because you billed it out. And so then typically that's where you hear the line of credit, and people need and use a line of credit because work done on the 1st, if you have an employee, is probably getting paid on the next 1st, right? Maybe it's getting paid every other Friday, which would be somewhere around the 22nd, or maybe it's paid on the 16th and the 1st like we are. So somebody working the 1st through the 15th is getting paid on the 1st, but you don't even receive that money until the 15th or 16th, 2 weeks later. So you have to use a line of credit. You can use your profits without a doubt, or you can use a line of credit, which is always my preference because I'm not scared of the debt, to come in. And then you can use the profits to do whatever other things that you want to do with that money. But if you're making money after a little bit, if you're growing, you better be making a lot of money because that number is going to get high very, very quickly. So the interest cost is fairly low relative to how fast you can recover the money. In the early days of a business like that, no bank in their right mind, unless you have really strong collateral, is going to give you a line of credit. So you go out and they have what's called a, oh man, I hate when I brain fart.
What is it? I know what you're talking about
They're
too.
Factoring.
Yep.
So you go out and you get a factored loan. And what a factored loan is essentially is somebody comes in and they buy your receivables. So they say, okay, you have $100,000 of receivables. And what's receivables, Billy?
The money that you're due owed.
That's right. Money somebody owes you. And they'll come in and they'll say, okay, you have $100,000. I'll give you $80,000 right now. Now that money, you build it on the 16th. It's due to come in the following 16th. They've got 30 days. I'll give you that money, but now I own those receivables, and I'll give you that money up to 80%. So you have $100,000 in receivables. They'll give you $80,000 right there. You pay your bills. You pay them an interest rate that's fairly steep relative to what you can get at a conventional, traditional line of credit from a bank. But still, lots of businesses use them to stay afloat. Lots of businesses use them, particularly in the early days, to open up and to grow. And they're very important if you open up a new business and you're growing because they give you 80% of your receivables as long as they're not older than 60 or 75 days. Everybody's different. 60 or 75 days old, and as long as there's not a specific concentration with one customer. So if you had one customer and they were, say, 15% of your income or 15% of your total receivables, that is 15% of your total revenue, then typically they will discount them or they will ignore it altogether.
Yeah, just because to save their own butts.
It just adds a level of safety for them because you have concentration with one big customer. So if that customer disappeared or didn't pay for some reason, 80% of that amount would be they'd be left hanging with. So, and it's usually 10 to 15% is what they try to avoid. So that's factoring, and that's certainly another way to do it. Swing this all the way back around. This is like gas station business or a convenience store business. Gas station, you buy fuel, and then you usually get 30 days to pay that fuel off. You have to give a deposit, but then you get 30 days to pay that fuel back. They come in and they just essentially take it out of your. It's not 30 days. It's 15 or 18 days, but you're selling it the second it goes in the ground, right?
Yeah.
Because it's one of these deals where they're topping you off just as you need it. And so you're selling it and you're getting paid for it as you go. Convenience store is the same way. You have inventory, like in this case. So you have to figure out a way to finance your inventory. But in terms of your operations, you have all the coverage you need because you get cash as you go, right? Somebody buys a Snicker bar, they hand you $1. You give them a Snicker bar. You've got the money in your pocket right now. You're not getting paid later. So it's attractive from that perspective because it takes out a level of complexity in running a business just like I said, it adds that level of complexity and it takes that away so that you can concentrate a little bit more on your business and a little bit less worrying about the financials. Not that she won't worry about financials, as you know, and she knows the three most important things in business are
financials. Know your numbers.
Billy listens every now and then.
Once in a while.
So that's a neat business. She could get into that if their numbers are right, and she keeps it up. It's been around for a long time, so it's 13, 14 years old. I think after debt and after experience and after additional costs for people to come in and help and all of that, it's probably going to throw off for her $50,000, $60,000 a year. So that's not a bad income. It's not a bad job. She's buying herself a job essentially, but the upside is tremendous. The company that owns it now doesn't really, I don't think they extract as much value out of it as there is using the internet and things of that nature, pictures and, you know, how much people marketing. Yeah. People love animals. They particularly love dogs. That's a $27 billion industry. And really anymore now, animals are like, dogs in particular are like family.
Yep.
People treat them like family. So the toys and the treats and the getting your fur all cut
cleaned
and toenails
and
done and all of that stuff done. So she's looking at, or I found this business and I'm working with the owners on behalf of my daughter to see if we can't put that deal together.